50 Cent's baby mama, Daphne Joy, is officially finished because word on the street is Diddy plans to teach her a huge lesson for getting on the stand and testifying against him. It turns out Daphne was the Jane Doe that testified against Diddy in court and got him hooked on those P-stitution charges. If not for her testimony, Diddy would have been home since the only charge he was found guilty on was the P-stitution of her and Cassie. Even Cassie, who is at the center of this entire case, is scared that the police will not be enough to protect her, so much so that she wrote a letter to the judge begging him not to let Diddy out on bail. Unfortunately, that isn't going to keep her or Daphne safe for much longer because as we speak, Diddy's lawyers have successfully expedited his sentencing from October to as early as this week. And from the looks of it, he will only be doing 2.5 years out of the 20 years he was facing, and those 2 years are going to be on probation. But guess who is happy about all this? Young Miami. The first thing she did when the news of Diddy getting off on those RICO charges hit was post this meme of Justin Bieber doing the clock it sign as a way of trolling Cassie and Daphne for betraying Diddy. Young Miami was the only freak-off princess who didn't turn her back on Diddy, and she knows he's going to reward her big time for it when he's finally out. In fact, before Diddy got locked up, she was reportedly getting paid over $250,000 a month and receiving multiple gifts every week just to be his girlfriend. On top of that, Diddy didn't mistreat her like he did to Cassie and Daphne. Initially, people thought he was treating Young Miami better because he liked her more, but she was exposed in an SA lawsuit filed against him by the producer, Lil Rod. And it turns out that Young Miami was more than a golden shower drinking freak. She was basically his business partner, and she knew way too much for him to not treat her right. His lawsuit said, and I quote, "Young Miami was among those who were paid a monthly fee by Diddy to work as his ex-workers. Robin Greenhill, the accountant, would ensure the wiring, funds transfer, or cash payments to ex-workers. Frankie Santella, Moy Bond, Brendan Paul, and KK would also be responsible for ensuring payment to workers in cash. Young Miami, Jade, and Daphne Joy were paid a monthly fee to work as Mr. Combs' ex-workers and receive payment via wire transfer from Robin Greenhill, which outlined defendants' ongoing criminal operation." But when it comes to Daphne, she had a totally different experience with Diddy. Yes, she was also getting flown out and having her apartment paid for by him, but he also did her dirty. He had her doing the things Cassie was doing, but don't start feeling bad for her just yet because unlike Cassie, Daphne chose to stay with Diddy, and she was even competing with Young Miami over who was going to be his main girl. Not only that, but she revealed during her testimony that Diddy was still the one paying her rent till this day every month for $10,000, even though he's literally in jail fighting for his life. If there's one thing we know about Diddy now is that he might be crazy, but he's not stingy with that wallet. Unfortunately, him still keeping Daphne in that $10K a month condo wasn't enough for her to stay loyal to him like Young Miami did, because once she got subpoenaed, she got on that stand and sang her lungs out like her life depended on it. And when you think of it, her life really did depend on it, because if she didn't give the jurors as much info as she found and Diddy got off, he wasn't gonna let her have it easy, and that's exactly what's happening right now. Daphne said she met Diddy back in 2021 at a party in Miami, which she attended with her friends. At the time, one of her friends was also sleeping with Diddy on the side, nothing serious. So when he started moving to her, she didn't hesitate, especially since her friend who was messing with him had somehow managed to get engaged to another man and moved all the way to Europe. Diddy started shivering her with lots of money, gifts, and even took her on a 15-day vacation to Turks and Caicos. It was during this trip that Diddy started introducing her to the substances he took. He gave her ecstasy, and according to her, she went on to pop 10 more during the trip. By the time they came back, she was now hooked on it, and he introduced her to her first freak-off, which Diddy referred to as hotel nights. Just like Cassie, Diddy would have his assistant set up the place and warm up the baby oils. He would then tell her that another man was coming to join them, and just like that, she'll find herself bent over, getting her back blown by a whole stranger while Diddy shoved substances down her throat and touched himself multiple times throughout the night. I just thought that it was a night of fun. I didn't think that we'd be doing it again. I think that night opened a Pandora's box in our relationship, and I was never able to shut it. It just completely set the tone for our relationship moving forward. I felt obligated to perform because my partner was paying my rent. She said Diddy first got violent with her back in 2024 after she confronted him and called him a PD file because she found out he was messing with a girl 25 years younger than him during a family trip to Utah. He picked me up in a chokehold. I couldn't breathe and I was on my tippy toes, she said. Diddy then punched twice in the head. She had been balled up on the ground trying to cover her head, and Combs started to punch and kick her. Jane told the court he then grabbed her hair and started to drag her. Later, as she showered, he started smacking her in the face, then instructed her to put some ice on her injuries and put an outfit on, because they were going to have another freak off that very night. She also brought up young Miami during her testimony, claiming that she was jealous of the fact that Diddy was treating Miami so well without putting her through half the things she had to go through. She even brought up how Diddy bought young Miami a Maybach and gave her a whole show, but when it came to her, it's crickets. Now, it's not confirmed that the Jane Doe is in fact Daphne, but this is a narrative the internet has been running with, and she has done nothing to debunk it. In fact, she has been seemingly confirming the rumors by posing in the $10K a month apartment that Diddy apparently got for her. As usual, people had their own thoughts, like this person who said, "I can't believe Diddy had Daphne Joy doing freak-offs up until he got locked up, all while Caresha was getting her own shows, shopping sprees, her own brand, the Met Gala, red carpets, etc. 50 Cent can't say ish else about Diddy." Another person said, "Cassie was young. Young Miami is about the game. She'd been rapping about it before crossing paths with Diddy. Daphne seen it as an opportunity and realized it was more than she was willing to deal with. Just because he'd paying $10,000 rent don't mean that man want you." But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about young Miami celebrating Diddy's win? And do you think Daphne is the Jane Doe in this case? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to click here to watch this other messy video.